Hi and welcome to Watch the Time and my review and initial thoughts of this Casio ProTrek PRW-2500T-7ER. I've just completed my state of the collection video where I explain the fact that I've got I went down to a 2-watch collection and different things, and I've now bought a couple of watches, 3 watches. This is the first one, and I'm just going to do a review of it. Obviously this isn't a new watch by any stretch of the imagination. It's probably this one about 10 years old, but it was in such good condition, and there's something about this watch. I think it's the last of the really great ProTrek line before they kind of went a little bit I don't know what the word is, too modern. Perhaps that's me just getting old, I don't know, but I love this watch. And I'll preface this by saying I hate titanium watches. I've bought in titanium watches for review and never reviewed them because I hate them so much, because they feel chintzy, lightweight, they feel just poor quality. It's just something about them, they feel like that. But in a Casio it kind of works, and I'll explain why in a minute. So I'll just quickly show you the watch first of all. So there's a few reasons why I went for this model, and one of the reasons is the fact it's got an altimeter on, and I fly paramotor, so it's nice to have a backup altimeter which is based on a barometer set-in. You know, it's quite a handy thing to have when you're flying such a, you know, an aircraft that's got no instruments essentially. So this could be all I need. I do have another altimeter, but it's good to have a backup, and sometimes I will just fly with this because it's perfectly adequate. So that was the first thing. Now this is one of the ProTrek line where they just went to town. They just put everything into this. So it's tough solar, it's atomic timekeeping, it's titanium, it's 200 meters of water resistant. It's almost closer to a G-Shock than a ProTrek. A lot of the ProTreks used to be only 100 meters of water resistant. So in there you've got the direction sensor, pressure sensor giving altitude, barometric pressure. It shows barometric pressure trends so you can predict the weather. Your temperature sensor, you've got a moon phase and tide graph, very accurate, which is nice to have. I do enjoy that, and they're both visible on the front screen. Again, they're 200 meters water resistant, solar powered and radio controlled. Now the solar power, in my opinion, of the Casios is not as good as, say for instance, my Seiko Arnie. My Seiko Arnie has never gone below 9 on the scale. On these Casios they just have low, medium and high, and generally I find they dip between medium and high, but you have to be careful if you're keeping them indoors in the dark. They will you know, they don't last as long as this Seiko, but then a lot of the functions on this are power hungry, like the compass, the barometer and the altimeter. They are power hungry. The backlight, the EL backlight and things like that, you know, they are quite power hungry features. So if I just show you there, you can see the solar panels around the edge, that sort of almost like bluey colour around the edge. That's the solar panels. And then when you look on the dial, you've got the time emblazoned at the bottom there, massive, and you can have 12, 24-hour time. In the middle there you've got the tide graph, and it shows you the current state of the tide, and over on the left you've got the barometric pressure trend. Above it here you've got the moon phase, which is showing so that's the dark side, the light side of the moon, etc. You've got the date, and you've got the day and the date there, barometric pressure trend. That little triangle says that it's received its signal. It gets a signal every day where I live, so it's always accurate and always up to date, which is fantastic. You've got all the usual airplane flying over. So you've got all the usual Casio features plus some others. There's some tide functions, there's a record function, you've got the, you know, the usual 5 alarms and the hourly chime. You've got a stopwatch, countdown timer. That's important to me. That is something that I use a lot on a watch. I'm pleased to have a countdown timer back in my collection. World time, this record sorry, that's the receiver function. That shows when it last received a signal and was updated. So you've got everything that you would normally get on a Casio. And the thing is, if you notice in all those screens as well, when you scroll through all the different screens, there's the time is still there in the alarm screen. In the stopwatch, you've still got the time. In the timer, you've still got the time. In the world time, you've got the local time and your world time. So, you know, a really, really nice watch. This is one of the last watches. I think the newer version of this, they did away with, so if I just press the compass, see the overlay, so it's got a separate screen to show the compass there. The new version doesn't have that overlaid screen. Again, I know that's a power hungry feature, but it's a really nice feature to have. I think the new version just has dots around the outside of the basic screen, so I really like that. Then obviously you've got your barometer there, and it will show you your trend in your barometer, the temperature, so it shows me the pressure there and also the temperature trend. And then down here you've got the altimeter, which obviously you can set from the barometric pressure, or you can just adjust it on screen. So, you know, that's a really nice feature to have. It's got this compass bezel on it, which is slide in and bi-directional. Not something that I need to use, but I quite like the way it's designed. I don't know if that's titanium, it feels like it, but I like the design of it, so you know, that's really nice. Usually on a Casio you have the adjust button here, but they've moved it to here because that's where the sensor is, but no problem there. And you've got the little light button there, and you've got that electroluminescence backlight, which is fantastic on this. You can have that automatic or just when you press the button. And it comes on and lasts for either 1 second or 3 seconds. So you know, a great all-round watch. And I'd say, you know, triple sensor, tough solar. You know, they've thrown the multi-band 6. They've really thrown everything into this. It's got this kind of plastic cage on the back, which makes it fit nicer on the wrist than it should for a 50 some odd millimeter watch. You know, it is an absolute beast, but it does wear quite nicely. You've got a reasonably nice clasp, nothing fancy. You know, the titanium bracelet, which weighs basically nothing. It probably weighs about the same, if not less than an equivalent rubber strap. You have to be careful when you're sizing this because it's push pins, and if you when you push the pins out and separate these, there's a little collar inside, just a little tiny sort of 1mm by 3mm collar, very easy to lose, so be careful of that. But it works great. I wouldn't say I can get the fit absolutely perfect. When I'm cold, it's a tiny little bit loose, but not a problem because it's such a lightweight watch, and it kind of sits, because it's so big, it sits okay on the wrist anyway, you know. Let's face it, it's not subtle, is it, this watch? It comes in a nice wooden box, if you like that sort of thing. It looks like a sort of I don't know, a repurposed wood, or you know, whatever, MDF maybe, I don't know, but it comes in a nice little box. You get a nice little manual, only about I think it's about, where is it, to there somewhere. That's about the manual. So you know, if you want some bedtime reading, there's the manual for you. But it's a fairly straightforward watch to use. I'm just going to pop it on wrist. So there it is on my just over 7-inch wrist. I say it wears really nicely because it's so lightweight, and it conforms nicely because of that shaping of the wrist there. You can see the way it sort of, the wings, if you like, hug the wrist. So you know, Casio are a bit like Seiko in a way, that where they make big watches fit really nicely on wrist. In the home screen, if you don't want the tide graph thing, you can have the year, so it just changes like that. So you've got the day, the date, the month and the year if you want that. I have the tide graph because I just think it looks funky, and I don't need to know what year it is. I'm pretty sure I know what year it is most of the time. So really happy with it. The fact that this watch is about 10 years old and it's basically in mint condition is fantastic. I'm really pleased with it. I paid, you know, £130 for this, which isn't a lot of money for what you get, I don't think. I know it's not like a smartwatch or anything like that, but I don't want that. And one of the big things is when you look at the smartwatches, they have maybe 1 or 2 days of battery power, then you've got to charge something up. I don't need anything else in my life to charge up. That's why I got rid of my Apple Watch, you know, all those years ago. you know, this watch I just don't need to worry about. I just need to make sure it stays on medium or high, and the way to do that is to wear it and to have it out in just daylight, and it sorts itself out. Not the kind of watch you really want to have sitting in a watch box for too long indoors. It will gradually lose its charge over time and then go into like a low power mode. So no drama, but you know, I just absolutely love this watch, and I'm just so pleased I managed to pick one up in such good condition, and you know, it's a great addition to my collection. So there you go, that's the Casio ProTrack PRW-2500 titanium with a 7ER with a 3258 movement in it. Absolutely love it. It's a keeper, definitely, and it's a, you know, a useful watch for me as well, with regards to my flying and stuff. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.